Good morning, guys. This is Paula back, and today we're going to do tags. I know I introduced my digitals last time, and when we didn't do the book, but we had done the book before that, so I just thought we'd do tags today, and maybe a little something else. We're going to do one set of tags, and we're going to do another collage project that's different. So I have inked everything, okay, and I've stitched 4 out of the 5 tags. Now the tags that we're working with today are Tracy Fox Designs, and it is it's the Urban Forge tag set. There's other things that go with it, but you can go over to Tracy's Etsy shop, which is Love Junk Journals by Tracy Fox, and you can find the Urban Forge. Okay, now, and you'll want to because they're lots of fun. Something you probably can tell is that I've got a little bit of curving up, going up around my tags. Well, I did not print this on cardstock, and I didn't want to waste them, so I just kind of attached them to some cardstock. And actually pretty heavy. It was like 110. So they're really sturdy. And I went through and I stitched around every one of them. And this one, Tracy had mimic stitching around these two. So I just followed. All the stitching is on the card. See, this is on the card. And if you really want to bring it to life, you can stitch over it, which is what I did here. So you can see the difference on how they look. You know, I think it looks much better stitched. And I used a black blue thread, which is my new thread I've been using lately. And I tell you, actually, it was Rachel from Roxy Creations who gave me the idea in one of her videos to use that color thread. So I'm going to bring the machine over just long enough for us to stitch this one tag, because I want you to see what it's all about. Let me make sure. Let me tilt you. Okay. I want to make sure you can see okay. I'm going to bring it in a little bit more. Okay, I don't know from one day to the next what that's going to look like, but we'll go with it right there. Okay, so just line up and go ahead and do your regular back stitch and all of that. But line up on the, I always do the bottom right and go across the bottom and then back up the left. I just feel like it puts that back stitch in a place that's not as noticeable. And don't worry about being right on the line. Do the best you can. But I don't mind if there's 2 lines. You know how I am. It looks intentional to me whenever I see 2 scribbly lines. Now, the only ones that had 2 lines on them anywhere was this one, where she had done messy squares. And so, yeah, just so you know that. But it's fun. I mean, I like the messy look whenever you do double stitching. Whoops, I almost went off my card. My sewing machine moved. So we got a messy spot there, I bet. Oh, well, it wasn't too bad. Okay, and like right here, she went off like, she went off 1 too many. And so when she does that, I just back stitch and then turn it around and even it up so that it covers any sloppy or intentional sections. So when you get to the bottom here, you want to just do a small back stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to take it off here, keeping my fingers crossed that we don't run out of thread for this project. And I didn't think about it for the other project, but I've got some thread, or bobbins, what I'm talking about. I got some bobbin. I'm going to have to change my glasses. Excuse me for a second. This morning, those glasses don't seem to like me. Everything's not as clear, or maybe my eyes aren't clear yet today. Okay, so now we have the 2 messy circles here. And if you notice, there's washi there. We're going to do something with washi too. So now we're going to stitch around the messy squares. And I am going to give it a small back stitch, 2 stitches, and then go on. And if this gets out of the box, no big deal. I really like the way she did the messiness, the messy look. It makes it fun. On this one, we're going to be stitching 2 boxes, and they're going to crisscross over each other. Okay, and we have one more little box to do. Okay, now I've got this long one here on the top, and again I'm going to start on this lower bottom. If I can get my needle right where I want it. Okay, almost there. I thought these tags were very clever. All right. Now, we've got all the stitching done on this one. So I'm going to scoot the machine out of the way and straighten up the camera. Let's go back. Sorry, guys. I hate having to do that, but I want you guys to not miss anything. Okay. Now, all right. Okay, so there is how it looks once it's stitched. Now, we're going to bring these others over. And this is not going to be a long project because the other one is. But this was the last set of tags I had ready. And I thought, well, let's do them and do this other thing that I messed up on a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, a few videos ago. I started to show you the project I'm going to show you after this, and I didn't. So you've not seen me do it, but I made one boo-boo, and it ended up being a big one. And I'm going to show it to you. So you know not to do what I did on that particular thing. So I'm thinking, and I think I want to get out my glue stick for a second. Now, we have all these little labels that Tracy puts in with the kit, you know, and they don't all match whatever flower it is. I couldn't tell you which flower it is. I know they're leaves, and it looks like a sunflower, and that looks like a fern and maple leaves, but I don't really know that much about plants. I'm not into anything nature. The thing I love about nature is what it tells you more than anything. I think it's beautiful. I think it's wonderful. I love looking at it, but I don't get into it. I'm not a master gardener. My brother's a master gardener, and all he thinks about is getting into it. But in my case, I think about crafting. Journals, scrapbooking, card making, tag making, the list goes on and on. So that is my thing. But I love working with this sort of thing. The thing about nature that I'm most impressed with is how it was created and the creation of it and who was behind it. And when I see creation, I think pretty much only that. So this is what we're doing today. I love to look at it. I think it's beautiful. I just don't spend time learning names of everything. Anyway, so I thought we would go ahead and do this first one that we were still stitching on. We'd do it first. Now on this one, I don't even remember what went where, but I'm going to put on here, I'm gonna put on this little, there's little cards, and this one has a maple leaf on it. So I'm gonna put it here, but it also, if you notice, it has washi. So we're gonna mimic the washi too. Now this one's too wide, and I got the closest thing I had to match this. The black I had was very thin, and the it was too thin for this. And then the greens, I didn't have any of the right kind of greens. So I recommend that you, when putting washi down, let me tear it here, that you always put glue stick on the back, especially in your books, because it's not going to stay down. And when you don't know the date of your washi, that makes it even more true. So see, that just kind of gives it a realistic look of the washi. Now, we're going to take a little bit of Fabri-Tac, and we're going to decide where we want to add this cheesecloth. Now, we're going to put it in a spot where there's nothing else to interfere with. So right here looks good. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac right there, put down my cheesecloth, not worrying about it being perfect, and then I'm going to glue the back of my maple leaf. Okay. All right, then I'm going to cover over this and cross over the lines here a little bit. Now you can see that my sari silk doesn't want to go, not sari silk, cheesecloth does not want to go all the way over. So we're not going to worry about it because it will just mess up the whole thing. So you can do it straight or you can do it at an angle. I kind of think with this, having boxes that cross over each other, that it looks better like that. Now, yeah, these are super simple because Tracy has done the biggest part of the work for you. And that's what's nice about her digitals. She'll ink a lot of them. And she did ink this one. I just decided we wanted it darker. And so, yeah. But you wouldn't have to. I mean, it's pretty much, I decided I didn't want that hanging over. So, yeah. And so I thought, you know, also, we would add a topper, and I decided to use a brown, it's really a brown, I ordered brown, but it came back looking kind of an orange, a brownish orange gold. And so this is sari silk, and we're going to use it in the top of the cards. And yeah, so these aren't the most difficult thing I've ever made. I'm trying to find my little poker that I always poke things through with. Whenever I can't get, I put a bigger, like a 3/16 punch hole through it. And so I'm going to pull it through straight like this, okay? And then I'm going to tie it one time. Now, if you find that one time is not enough, like you have a lot, we'll just tie it one more time, because it will have a better lifespan if you, as far as staying on, if you do it twice. And then I'll just even them up. So you want to pull them really good. Now these will settle down a little bit, and at which time you can arrange them however you want. Now see, I usually pull them down to trim them if I'm just going to trim straight off. So I got the other one a little bit short. But this is tag number 1. And this bending here will straighten out too. You just kind of have to manipulate it, and see, now it's already straight. All right, so there is tag 1. So we're going to move on. We're going to do some easy ones. We're going to do some not so easy. Now this one doesn't have washi, but we're going to add washi. I thought it would be fun to add some washi. This one has pink flowers, so we're just going to, I've got different washi's over here. I think we're going to try that one. We're just going to make it have a washi, and see, it's not sticking at all. So you really, really need to make sure you always, I don't know how long I've had it, but you know, when you get washi, do you ever really run out unless it's just something you really, really love and you use it all the time? Not really, you know, and that's why washi gets old and loses its sticky. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe we'll do it right up here. No, I like it here better. And you can do it at whatever angle you want, whatever length you want. I think I should have probably been a little bit shorter right here. No big deal. And now on this one, I have a circle with a daisy in it. So I just decided to match the ones up that I knew. And I think this is going to go here on the left bottom. Now, this one is shaped kind of weird. I don't know if it was the one I cut for this shape, because I've had them ready for a while, and I've been, you know, I tried to do the easy stuff off camera so you didn't have to be bored. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put it straight across here with some Fabri-Tac, and we're just going to put this down right there, and then put some on the back of our little tag. Really, it's a little label. It's a little label. Okay. Make sure you turn it the right direction. I think this is the correct direction here. Come on, get on there. Now, you could even stitch around your little label if you wanted to, but I thought, I wanted it to be a little different, you know. So I'm trimming off what's hanging over because I just think it's too much. And I'm going to trim a little bit right here because I don't want it to show too much of our, I want it to show more of our, flower. Get it spit out in a minute here. And so now we're going to put this sari silk in here and hope that I can get through the little hole punch. This time I did. Don't ask me why it's different than the last one. Was actually a little bigger, it looked like, but who knows. Okay, so we're going to tie that. All of my tags, I'm going to, when I have 10 minutes of free time, I'm going to get them ready to go on my Etsy shop, and I'll let you know when that happens. I still have things on there. There's a couple things my husband didn't put the pictures on correct, so we will be redoing those, but so you can see what you're getting a little better. And then we'll be adding the majority of the tags we made, not every single one, because there's some of them I've had in mind for different journals and whatnot. So I think I tied that too many times. I think I tied it 3 instead of 2 because it doesn't look right. You know, it's easy to get distracted when you're me. Now if I can get my fingernails under there to pull it out. Yeah, that's what I did. I thought I had done one, but I really had done two. Okay, that's all right. I'm going to trim this one down a little bit to match the other side. I'm going to trim any strings. You know how Sari Silk is. It ravels and does all that cool kind of stuff, but I think it turned out good. What do you think? I hope you guys like these. They are super cute. Sometimes video doesn't show you just how cute, but they really are super cute. Now we're going to put a piece of washi on this little tiny one down here. So I'm going to ink up or glue up my washi. Stick it down here. You can put it over the top of your washi, your glue stick, and just pull it, but it gets it all over you. But that's how I used to do it. I learned that from Gail, that and many other things. Now, I think I'm going to move that over a little bit. Yeah, just like that. I just think that's fun. Okay, now on this one, we know it's a fern. So I'm going to put this little piece of cheesecloth right up here. And it's going to be with this little fern tag or label. I don't know why I keep wanting to call them tags. We all know that they're not. Okay, I'm just going to trim it down a little bit because it's too big. I think some of my washies got mixed in with the others. And I cut them as I was going, but yeah. So here is the little fern. I'm going to stick it right there, and then we have the word fern. So I think what I'm going to do is pull this up a little higher, and then I can either put it that direction or turn it out this direction. But we'll decide. Like I said, everything's inked, so here we go. There's our little bit of washi, our little bit of glue, fabric glue here. And I want these to be up a little further. Put some glue on the back of your label. Got it right this time. Okay. And we're going to put it more up to the top. Now, if you were in a pickle and you needed to have a tag done, you know, to go with a project, these are great because they go quickly. And then you get a really impressive look. Most everything Tracy does is pretty impressive. Everything she does is pretty impressive. It will impress you. I can't say impressionable. It is very impressive. This is the blooper for today. Let's just go with everything she does will impress you. Oh my word. I feel like Gail can't get my words today. I heard her say that in a couple of videos. She had a couple of videos after her retreat where she kept saying she couldn't get her words, and it made me think of how often I can't get my words. And it's, I mean, sometimes you do a video and you do great and you don't have any bumps in the road, and then all you do is bump into the wall over and over again sometimes. Okay, I'm trying to get this little word label down. It's not really how I wanted it to look. There, I got it underneath, so that's better. So I'm going to get a piece of Sari Silk, slip through this little punched hole, go up to the top and get it tied off. We're getting close. We only have 2 more left, and they don't look very difficult from here. Okay, so trim off this one a little bit. And remember, you can relax them down whenever you use them, and they will do great. So there we go. All right, so let's move over to this one. Now on this one, we are going to use, I think I want to go ahead and use this same, although this gray is cool. Let's try this gray on this one. They don't have to be identical. This is wider than what's on the actual print, but that's all right. It doesn't have a lot of other things going for it, you know, as far as extra stuff on the tag, which will make this look fine. So we're just going to cover it. And there we go. I like the way the gray looks. Okay, and so I'm just going to put this other label on here and go from there. I'm going to trim off a little bit of this cheesecloth. And I think we'll put it up here on the right-hand side. It's pretty big, but we may have to trim some of it off. Okay. Put some on the label. Okay. Get it turned up in the upright position is helpful. Not all of them have words. I'm sure that she probably put a word on there for them. I know she had several. It's just that I didn't want to use them all. I just used it on the ones I was 100% sure of. If you're out there and you know all your plants and stuff really well, you might recognize it, but some of these I did not recognize. And I didn't want to give you something that... I didn't want to give you a maple leaf that said oak, or, you know, oak leaf or something crazy. Or a maple leaf and call it a fern, you know. You don't want to do that. And plus, you don't have to put little words on things, but I love to do it. I think it just finishes things really nicely. And I think a lot of people, I've done it for years. I've used words for years. And I started off using Tim Holtz, and then I started creating my own. And I mean, now I use both. Okay. So, got to spend some time straightening out the sari silk, but all right. There we go. Number 4 is complete. Now we're going to do our last tag, and then we'll move on to the other project I wanted us to do. Now, I also have this one, I do have the word leaf. I'm going to trim this off a little bit, clean it up. It's all shaggy. And really, I like the shaggy look of the cheesecloth. I think before we do that, we'll do this little bit of a label, but then I don't think I want to because it's under the stitching. So you got to kind of think of stuff like that. So we don't have to do it on this. We're going to be doing other things anyway. And so we can put this in the middle. Can't remember where I decided to put it. No, it's not enough room at the top, so I think I'm going to put it down here at the bottom to put it on the right or the left. And I'm going to I think I'm going to go with the left because there's a little bit more space. Plus, it doesn't cover up your stem of your leaf. Okay. So quiet in here, a pin could drop, you guys. Do you love it when you have days where you can just sit and enjoy the, I'm going to kind of angle it a little bit. Enjoy the quiet. Now, I am missing my little word. I just had it here. Can you believe that? I can. Well, we had the word, oh, it was right under my nose. It would have bit me if, oh my goodness. Okay, let me move it up so you can see better. What on earth is my glue doing? It's kind of went a little crazy for a second. Okay, and now we've got the word leaves. And I think I'm going to kind of tilt it the other direction on top of the label. You know, to make it different. I like to trim Sari Silk off the edges on tags because, I was going to tell you this a minute ago, because putting them in and out of pockets, you know, stuff snags on things. And this is really just for looks, you know. One last Sari Silk ready to go. And you may ask me why I used a brown gold Sari Silk. Well, the tags, or the labels that go on these, have gold. Goldish brown. And I just thought it looked better than any of my seam binding, or any of the greens I had didn't look as good as the Sari Silk. The gold Sari Silk. My goal is to get every color out there. I really wanted this to be a dark brown. That was what I was aiming for. I ordered this one, and I ordered a burgundy maroon like one. Here you go. Let me move all this stuff. We'll bring them out here and lay them down so we can see exactly what we've been working with. Now I'm going to hold this one up real quick so you can see it close up. All right, so as I said, we have our five tags that will come as a set of 4, probably. One of these I've made for something else, but it depends on whether I make that particular thing or not. So here we go. 5 tags, and I think they turned out super cute, and they're Urban Forge with Tracy Fox at Love Junk Journal. Be sure and go visit her Etsy shop. She's got lots of new things. Lots of new things. Things I haven't even got uploaded yet. And I am excited to work with those. So I'm going to set these aside to dry so we have room to work on our other project. And that's going to, I'm going to get all this messiness off my desk so we can do the next step. Okay, so yesterday I introduced you to my new digitals, and I don't expect you to just run over there and buy them, but I think you'll like them. And I did it more for fun, and now I'm like, okay, what can I do next? I have a lot of doilies that I want to include in that that group of things, and I plan on, I've got almost everything uploaded now. I just got to put them in groups of how I think they'll look good. And so I've done these before, okay? This is nothing new to me. I did see, what reminded me of it was Rachel over at Roxy Creations. So I've got this. I folded this lower section over and stitched to hem. And this opened out, this was a book page opened out. But I'm going to show you what I cut when I started this. And this is what I ended up with. Cute, right? Well, I stitched on this side all the way down. When I was doing my stitching, I just didn't think. I just stitched it closed. And yes, I did decorate the inside. Let me pull the tags out. I felt like such an idiot. Do you ever do stuff you just like, what were you thinking? So if you look down, I'm going to show you my mistake. If you look down inside, I don't know if you can see or not. I'll do my best. If you can't, you get the big picture. I decorated inside and then sewed down this side. What was up with that? Crazy ladies, what was up with that? So we're going to redo it, and we're going to use these same tags because they're kind of useless in this. Although this would look, I'm not going to get rid of this because there will be something I can do with it. I mean, I've made pockets like that before, but it wasn't my intention this time. So I took I took 2 pages and glued them together about this size. You can do any size you want, but this is the size I'm doing. I have a 7 high or tall and a 9 wide, okay, for the 2 pages. And then I just took 1 book page and I thought, I'm going to put it on the out. This is the outside. And I thought, how can I was trying to remember, so I just took it, folded it under, and in the past I did not stitch this, but I'm going to stitch across this. It's going to be the first thing we do, okay? We're going to stitch across this and all the way around it. And then we're going to do our collaging because we want it to be in the right place. Although, maybe before we do that, we'll collage up here because we want this top portion to have something right across here. So that's what we'll do. I think that'd be more, that'd make way more sense to do it that way. So here we go. We're going to try our hardest to do it right this time. So today I'm going to use some of my new digitals. Because I love anything that looks patchwork. Okay, and the first kit is called Seasons. Basically, it's the quilts of different seasons. And so that's the first thing I'm going to do. Now we've got, and now these are not printed on cardstock, so they don't have the brilliance that you might have saw yesterday. So here's a spring quilt, and again, it's not super bright like the original. Let me just show you the originals again in case you didn't see them. This is the collage kit, page 1. Collage kit, page 2. Now, these are on cardstock. You see the difference in how they print. Page 3. Right here. I hope you guys can see okay. I think you can. Most of you probably saw them yesterday. And page 4. And page 5. Now those 5 are the collage kit, okay, when you go to look at them. This is the season. The seasons is what it's called, and it's the 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter. This is spring. This is fabric on here. I did not use paper on this. This is actual vintage fabric, okay? I dug in all my vintage stuff to do most of these. Now, this one does not have vintage in it, but this is the summer quilt. This has 75% vintage, 25%. I really honestly think it's all vintage. But what I wasn't sure of was the tie-dye and the floral. But I know the rest of them were. I remember them being in my box. So this is winter. Got my papers upside down, I just noticed. And I wonder if you can figure out what this is. This is completely vintage. This is fabrics from the 70s. This, and this are not. Just those three solid colors are not. And those three are Tim Holtz, part of one of his lines. But everything else is vintage. Look at these old Paisleys. I mean, I had a hard time giving up some of my vintage fabric, but I thought it looked perfect as the fall page. And so, yeah. So that is the first two digitals I've released. They're very reasonable. If you're interested, don't feel pressured. Okay, so now this is the outside. Now I'm trying to think because I want to stick with pinks and blues, kind of, sort of. So I thought we could use these, but I also think it would be fun to put blue under here. So I think this is Artie Mays. The blue and pink design is going to be Artie Mays, just so you know, as I'm using it. And I may use some other things. And I have one more of my doilies that I brought out just because I need that color. I didn't plan on using any of my stuff before I put it out, but I just wanted it for this. Okay, so we're going to put this like this on here, and the bottom page should cover, let's make sure, it should cover the, yeah. So let's go ahead and glue this down. Now, I'm not inking anything till it's all said and done because, you know, change your mind, stuff like that. I don't know what size I want this to be, so I'm just kind of doing it. Because I don't remember which portion I wanted where. Okay. And I'll tell you something I don't want to really do. I know you're going to go, why? I want this to separate here because when you have stuff at the fold, you don't get the perfect look you want. So I'm trying to keep them from not looking pretty during the fold. Okay, I'll put this one right here. Already I can tell my glue is drying, so I'll have to add some more. And I'm going to tear this right here on this bottom portion because I didn't get it the right size. There we go. Oh my goodness. That's when it pays to have it exactly the width you want because you... But see, when you fold this, now it will fold without pulling or bowing in the middle or making a little mountain. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you make a card and you glue something over the fold, you're going to have trouble getting it to open and close. And this being flush on the back. So, yeah. So I'm going to trim this portion off so we can do our stitching. Keep your fingers crossed that I don't run out of bobbin. Oh my goodness. You know, you start a video thinking you have everything. I'm not kidding. I always double check everything. Except the bobbin. But I have some thread in a bobbin already. So we shouldn't have any problems. Let me see how much time we've got. We've got 15 minutes to do this. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and stitch the one portion we've got to stitch here in order to stop. I just knew we'd have 30 minutes left to do this. So what we're going to do on here is I'm going to put it on a bigger stitch and we're going to hem it down with a zigzag stitch. right. So I'm going to a crop this weekend here in town. I mean, I'll spend the night at home, but I'll spend the days and night evenings at the crops. And I'm not stitching those because we'll be stitching that side down, and I think it'll end up okay. All right, so now we have this, and you know what? That did not go. What we're going to do was just I was slightly short on that. And this is why it's nice. So what I'll end up doing is just trimming this bottom off here. So let's just do that. Let's just do it. And, you know, the thing about working with book pages is you're not going to get perfect measurements, for one thing, but it's nice because you can just cut it off, you know. You can just be done with it and say farewell, because I don't care. But, you know, trying to get it where it won't move. There we go. Maybe I can keep it still. I should have clipped it, but I'm trying to hurry. You know how it is when you put yourself on a time schedule. All right, now I'm going to stitch around this. Keep your fingers crossed. And this time, I'm trying to remember, I'm going to do a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch, if it will allow me to. Let me kind of tilt the camera. There you go. So I'm going to start over here, or maybe up here. I normally would start, well, I could start on the bottom. Let's do it on the other side. Let's go ahead and start on the bottom. I have certain places. This is throwing me off my normal routine, just so you know. All right. Now, I don't know what this is going to do. If I think I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the zigzag. I was going to do some straight stitch, but I'm afraid to mess with my my bobbin, you know, because I don't want it to forget that it's almost empty. But on the other one, I did some straight stitch, and then I changed over to zigzag, and it's just a fun look. And I'm wanting to make sure I've got this straight on here. Got off a little bit right there. I went one stitch too far. What I will probably do, when it's all said and done, when I'm finished with all the collaging, is I might go around, see, because I went off a little bit right there. I'll go around with a single stitch, just a straight stitch. And then it'll look messy, or messier. Messier. You have to watch it, because when you fold this paper like this, it's wanting to bow on me. Not bow, but bubble up, you know, give me a little bit of a rub, kind of a ripple in my, see right here how it's doing? It's not a big deal, but what would have kept that might have made that better was if I had put it on 2 pages instead of 1. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to push this out of the way for now. And so you're going to be able to see right here that because this is open, when it got down here. It's kind of like fabric will do, you know, sometimes when you have fabric that just decides it's going to be all cantankerous and not so straight, and it will give you that little bit of, you'll end up with a little wrinkle right here or little stitch that you didn't call for, and it's frustrating. And you don't know it till you're at the end because it doesn't really act up until then. I'm going to tie these so they won't drive me crazy. This video might go over just a little bit. I want you to be able to see what we're doing here as much as possible. All right, so we'll do the front first, okay? And we're just going to tear and stick, glue and stick. And just like we do for any other collage, except I don't want to do a bunch of, different, let me get my tear tool. I'm not going to do teeny tiny pieces if I can keep from it. You know what I'm saying? I really want to put most of this, except for this edge here, down one side, but I don't want it to be too wide. So I think we can go out just a little bit more. I found this rose in an old gardening, I mean, it was like old. I don't remember the exact date right now off the top of my head, but it definitely was an older book. And I just thought, that's big, you know, is what I thought. But then I'm like, I like it. So I fussy cut it out and laid it on top of all my work to get this all made. And I ended up liking the way it turned out. Now, we're not going to have all these roses up here on this, but I am just going to do this as a single sheet. Now, I am going to tear where the little scallop is. I cut that out of black paper, and I'm going to try to stay inside the zigzag lines because it'll look better since we had to do them early. Oh, I don't want it that high up. What am I thinking? I want it down here. I'm not thinking, obviously. Okay. And now we'll do right here. Now, I don't want to lose a whole lot of my little scallop that I spent so much time trying to perfect. Let's see. Okay. All right, so we're right here, and I'm going to put this here. I probably will add something over the top right there. So we'll glue this down. I think this is the process that makes me the craziest, especially when you're doing things with bigger pieces, is the gluing. Because you feel like one half's drying while you're doing the other half when it's bigger, you know. And if you take too much time putting it on your project, it is going to not be perfect. Okay, I'm starting at the bottom here because I'm gonna probably put some kind of other collage at the top. What I like about this is that I, you know, I've already got my, you know how you sometimes will add a bird or a flower or whatever. It's what I like about it. And I think you can get different looks with it too. All right, so now as far as this up in here, I think I'm gonna see what we've got left. I think I'm not sure. Let's hold on that one. I might actually add some texture there. And so on this side over here, I'm wondering if I want to go ahead and do, I think I'm going to put this on the back. And I'm going to put some of this other portion on the other side. I'm going to do just like that. Let that go on the other portion. Turn it. This one has a lot of vintage stuff on it. Vintage paper, like these pink roses are very old. The lace is not vintage. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby or something. If it's a vintage thing, I will let you know. Okay, so now I think we're going to, I didn't even measure what size I needed this to be. I know this is sideways, I don't even care. Do not even care. Do I want to do it from down here? No, I think I want it right there. I like that way a little bit better. We're going to cover up this pucker. Think we can do that? We're sure going to try. Okay. And again, I would normally go ahead and put my paper down and then stitch over it. But because of time, I went ahead and let's get right there. Okay. Put some glue on that. Glue it down. There we go. Now let me move this book, which is annoying and in my way. I'm going to put this up like this. Put it in this corner and bring it up. It's still going to show your your little tuck there, but it's not a big deal. Okay, now I'm trying to think if I want to put this vintage. Lost my tear tool. How do you lose your tear tool, Paula? It's right in front of your nose. There it is. Okay, now I'm going to pull this little edge off first. Now, I don't want to use, I want to save this box right here. So, I'm going to get as close as I can to it. I actually did this box. I did use a ruler, of course, because I didn't want to use anybody else's, you know, things. So I used that box. Put this up here on this side. Now we will be adding a little bit more because I want this to be close to the spine, so that we know we're getting it covered. And then in the center section, because this side's going to have 3 pieces at least. Oh, don't tear my paper. I'm going to put it like this because I don't want it to. That way it gets all the way over. We have this one little section right here that didn't get covered. So I'm going to take this other portion. We might as well, right? I don't want to save that, but not so much. All right, now we'll glue this right in here because it's kind of lost anyway. You don't want to glue it like that because that'll bring the text up straight. Hopefully. I hope you guys have been collaging and feeling like you're getting better and better. I feel like the more I do, the better it feels. And I think the book is a perfect thing for someone who is learning to collage, to make an altered book, because it definitely, look how crooked all of that is. See this? That's okay, because it's not supposed to be perfect. But stuff like that bugs me. Anyway, so now we've got the front here. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do right there. I got that a little bit too far over. I'm going to trim that off. Okay. All right. There we go. I would have liked it if the scallop was a little straighter, but again, that's not the point. Now we're going to do the inside, which is going to be the journaling portion. And I know we're going to use this piece of paper here, but we are going to add some journaling type paper. And I hope and pray I brought that with me. I tell you what, we're going to use, I've used part of this doily. This is one of my doilies too. And it's beautiful. In person, you should see it. It's beautiful. But I really like this right here. So I'm thinking we could put this on this side. Or on this side. I just think it looked better on the left. We'll put it on the left. Excuse me. And then we'll put some of this bare part of the lace on the doily on the other side. I'm hiccuping like I've been at the old country bar. I can't remember ever going into a bar, but that doesn't mean that I haven't. I just don't remember if I did. We've gone into dance places when we were younger, but I can't even think about us going in and doing little, you know, Friday night dance. Used to be one called the Carousel on Friday night, and they'd play country music. And I remember we went there with my aunt a few times, and believe it or not, my mother. But anyway, we went there, and we mostly watched. You know, we'd do a couple slow dances, but even though we were just past our 21 years of age. But okay, so now we're going to put this. I'm hoping I didn't tear it too long. I felt like I needed to get it a little bit shorter. Let's go just a little bit more on this side. When it's on cardstock, it's really hard to tear, and that's why another reason I recommend you to always print when you're going to collage with it, depending on what you're going to do. But if you're going to collage, you're better off to put this on copy paper. I don't know what it is. I've noticed doing my videos, I'm over here inking. I'm sorry, it's hard. I don't have that much area. I feel crowded all the time, it seems like, lately. I think it's just been since collaging's come around. You know, you get all involved in doing it, and then before you know it, everything that all your papers are everywhere in your way. Well, that one turned out cute. All right, so there we go with that part. Now over here, we'll add some of this, this portion. And then we'll put our little tag down somewhere too. I don't know how well it's going to look with what we're working on, but it's all right. Okay. So my husband's talking about getting me a new computer. Mine has been acting up for so long. I just want to throw it up in the air sometimes and say, whatever. Do you ever feel that way? It's like, okay, I've had enough, no more. Like I said, I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to put maybe I'll put a label. But this is going to be the perfect journaling spot right here, and it will be a decorative one. When I have cardstock that I put on my, on collaging like this, I do put extra glue around the edges for sure, because you don't want it coming off on you. I feel like it's harder to get the edges to stay down when it's cardstock. Okay, now we're going to have this big section right here. No, I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't really like it. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe I want to cut this down a little bit. And this may not even be the right label, you know, for the way I've done it. I'm going to trim around it and get as much off as I can. See what it will end up looking like. I love those little scissors. Okay, so do we want to put it down here? Oh, I kind of like it right there, actually. We need something in the middle, though. I think I have an idea. I'm going to leave this laying here. And I think what we could do, let me grab some lace. See if I've got some handy. You know, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Let's see. No, all of those are flowers. Looking in the wrong stack. Let me look over here. And again. Oh, I was going to show you. This is what that doily looks like in person. See, this is the doily that I did the print of the other day, and we were talking about using it on my design team project. Let me get it. I'm going to rescan it because my husband didn't get it quite centered. But this is going to be a design team project, or digital also. But you can see here, let me put this underneath, how pretty this doily is, and it's very old. Very, very old. Okay, I got distracted, sorry. I don't know what I did with that other thing. But anyway, there's that. What was I looking for? Now I've lost my train. Lace. Hello. Lace, that's what. We don't have time, Paula, to be goofing around. Find some lace. Well, I don't know. We'll just see what's in there. Sometimes, you know, you just don't have the right lace that you can reach out and grab. See what's on this. I think when you're rushed to decide on something, it makes it a little more difficult. So maybe we'll just put some of this down. It's a little wider than we need, but oh well. Sometimes I just like to add different kinds of textures to things. And this is definitely different. Okay, now I'm going to put it just to the right because, well, it's where it needs to go. And after I put this portion down, we'll probably need to sign off for today. I can't tell which side's which. That's the back. So I will just put some glue stick on here and get that stuck down real quick. So I want to welcome all my new subbies too while I'm thinking about it, and let you know that I appreciate you subscribing. I saw another video today, and it impressed me on how I hadn't thought of this. Don't ask me why. I guess I'm lucky to get things done. I can't think of anything else but getting work done. If you subscribe to my channel and you want to me to subscribe to your channel, the Foxy Crafters Facebook page, we've been trying to help new YouTubers out. So if you're new to YouTube and you are not new, I mean, I don't care, it doesn't matter, and you would like for me to subscribe to you, please leave a comment saying, could you, you know, I'm new and I have a channel, and then I'll know, you know, what I can do to help you. So, all right, so here we go. I've got stuff everywhere, you guys. You just wouldn't believe. Over here, I got this big box on top of me. Trying to find my lace. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. I haven't inked it, of course. And this is where I got, and then I stitched and left all my inside decorations just doing their own thing. So I don't know if I'm going to put this on there. If I do, I think I'm going to have to cut it out. Mostly why I'm dragging my feet about it is I like it. That's not the problem. The problem is the center is kind of yellow. Because of the paper I printed this on. I didn't print it on white. It looks like I printed it on like a cream color. And that kind of changes up your... I think what I'm going to do is just trim straight around this. We'll just do it like that, because it gives a little bit of a black edge. And if I don't like it, I love the way it looks on the collage sheet. And I just didn't realize that I had put it on there with the cream color. Or this one I printed, not the one that's on the copy, or the main copy. Okay, so I'm just going to put it over here, and I don't think it'd be as noticeable. Or I could bring it over here and cover up all this crooked mess. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know why it did that. There was no reason for it to. But what can I say? So I'm going to put it right in here, maybe to cover up some of that ripple. But also, it will look good, you know, covering up all the crooked paper. You can tell I did this in a rush. I'm sorry, it's kind of wonky looking. But I like wonky looking at times. And so anyway, I'm going to glue this down. And then we'll move on. In our next video, I'm planning on working on the altered book. We may be doing that less and less, not a lot. I won't do it without you, but because I know we've really been doing this and having fun. I'm going to put it right here because I think it might cover up. It's not ever going to cover it up, but might keep that from looking so crooked. And then once I ink this, it'll have more of a brown tone to it. But right now, it's not. All right, guys. We got most of this done. The only thing I'm going to lack doing is I'm going to have to stitch around it again. with a straight stitch, and I might add something to this area. It's too pink, and I'm thinking maybe we'll add some blue on here. Maybe we'll even bring out the little quilt paper and do something with it. I'm not sure yet. We'll just have to see. All right, guys, I've enjoyed crafting with you guys today, even though I've been a little wonky and have, as Gail said, had trouble with my words. So you guys have a good day, and go out and craft. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye.